have to turn my car in a couple months, so I want to either
Did you get your car back?
Huh? No.
Still getting fixed.
It's gonna be 2 weeks. She bent the front and the back axle.
Oh my God. You're not gonna let her drive anymore, are you?
No, not close to curbs, that's for sure.
Just her own.
Yeah, just her own car.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
Phil's going like, well, give
her
to
an
someone like
SUV.
that.
I'm gonna get her Bigfoot or something like that.
Yeah. Just ride right over.
So, yeah.
We'll talk about that too.
I'm gonna hit you.
Okay.
Try not to.
Really different.
I might do a big accident.
Yeah, okay.
So, guess we'll have to be getting out the shovels and stuff
Soon.
It's supposed to snow Thursday night, Saturday night, and then have a succession of storms after that.
Really?
Yeah, so it's gonna start getting bad.
He's one of those weather watchers.
No, I'm one of those teachers.
Yeah. Get off from school. Yeah, it's supposed to be mostly open.
I know, and we have off Monday anyway.
Right, okay.
How bad is that?
It's like that's the one thing you never grew out of, right?
I know, exactly.
Yeah, he said morning.
And it's still as great as you remember. When the phone rings in the morning, it's like,
You
yes.
still go out and throw
I've been
throw a
talking since
snowball.
Friday.
Snowballs
at
at the truck.
plow,
I
yeah.
did. I yelled to go, get out of here. Oh, still
Those
good.
are our employees.
Actually, it's not even a call. It's not even a phone
What
call.
body
It's a
shop
text.
is it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The one across from Rockwood.
Oh,
Coachworks.
Yeah.
Coachworks.
Yeah. Now it's I guess they direct bill my insurance, makes it nice.
yeah, you're
Tell
not.
us the same story.
You just take it and that's the end of it. If there's any problems, they go right to the insurance claim.
Exactly.
Something you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Anything?
Just keep going. Nope.
Everything's easy now. Like they do everything over the phone, then they do it online. It's really good. Who knows how long it's gonna take? They're gonna have to redo the whole bottom of the car.
I don't get it.
I'll remind you later.
Comes in.
How close was it to total?
On his computer.
I know it's gonna be several $1,000s, but it's only got 4,000 miles on it. It's brand new.
He still turns into
Totaling.
The regular public meeting of the Township of Whitehall Board of Commissioners will now come to order. After the pledge, we'll have a moment of silence for our departed residents and for our troops serving home and abroad.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Whitehall Township has an obligation to affirmably further fair housing and to review all land use applications in accordance with federal civil rights statutes. This includes taking meaningful actions that overcome patterns of segregation and foster inclusive communities free from barriers that restrict access to opportunity based on protected characteristics. The township in its land use decisions does not discriminate against persons based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, disability, or familial status, and reviews all land use applications in accordance with federal civil rights statutes. Public comments made on the basis of bias and stereotype concerning people within these protected classes will not be taken into consideration by the township in its deliberations. I'll take a motion to approve the regular public meeting minutes of December 10th, 2018.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions from the board? Hearing none. Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Clary,
Aye.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
President Hauer.
Yes.
Passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
I will now turn it over to the mayor for the firefighter award presentation.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to see all these guys at their get-together in December, and it occurred to me that we should be honoring you folks in front of the entire community and in front of the commissioners who do everything they can to support you. So we have in response to a request from Dave where we should be here. You can assist with this. I think it's important that you be involved. So what we've done is decided to bring anybody who had more than 25 years or more of service in the fire department to be honored in front of the community here. And I want to begin by asking Nevin Holderman to come up. Is that Nevin's not here? Okay. How about Keith Builder? Keith, on behalf of Whitehall Township, I want to thank you for 30 years of service in support of this community. And if you would like to present this to him, I'd appreciate it. Don Genovese Jr. You may remember his father. He worked for us for a long time. He was a great guy. Still is. Okay, Don, again, for 30 years of service to this community, we appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Francis Builder. I think that's you. For 35 years of service in service to our community. Thank you very much, Dave. Dave Pearson. Dave, for 45 years of service to this community. Thank you very much. And Kyle Kitline, Kitchline, if you can come up. Kyle is receiving a commendation for being the Fire Police Officer of the Year. Thank you very much. And I need Deputy Chief Francis Builder. He's the big winner tonight. For being named the Fire Officer of the Year, I guess I'll let Dave do this one.
Peanut's helped us out tremendously. He's not only is he our deputy chief, left-hand man of mine, takes care of us. He's out on all the calls at nights, and he's just a great person to have around in our department.
And receiving the Robert L. Benner Award, Fire Police Captain Rex McConaughey. And Dalton Stetler. Pleasure to give you, through Dave, the Firefighter of the Year Award for Whitehall. Now, I told you that I would be quick, but there's something I would like to do before we make the next presentation. Dennis Schultes will be receiving an award for 50 years of service to Whitehall Township, and I thought it was appropriate to read you a bit of his resume here. He's presently a volunteer firefighter with the Whitehall Fire Department for over 50 years of service. He has an Associate Applied Science degree from Northampton Community College in Fire Technology, the class of 1977, and he was the first in the Whitehall Fire Department. He's certified by Pennsylvania State Fire Commission Professional Qualifications Board as a firefighter 1, 2, and 3. He's a first class. He is in the first class to test at the Pennsylvania Fire Academy in Lewistown for firefighter 1 after the evaluations with a certification number of 86. He is certified by the National Board on Fire Service Professional Qualifications as a firefighter 1, 2, and 3. He attended fire schools and classes in Lehigh, Northampton, and Carbon counties from 1968 to the present. He wrote the first standard operating guidelines for Whitehall Township Fire Department in the 1980s. He requested that the township manager in the 1980s donate land from the Cameron tract to build a fire training facility. He requested that the township commissioners float a bond to build a fire training facility. He designed the original training building, which included sprinklers and heat detectors in each room. The original cost of the building was $225,000. The original facility had no water or electric, which was installed years later. Presently is serving as safety officer at Lehigh County Station 39, Egypt, PA. Served as a training officer for 27 years and assistant chief as needed at Station 39 in Egypt. With Station 39 in Egypt, he was instrumental in obtaining large diameter hose for Station 39 Egypt and being one of the first in the area. Also for Station 39, fire department in the area was the first in the area to have the deluge mounted on the top of the first pump route, which was also removable. Also with Station 39, it was the first department to have a foam line and foam inductor plumbed in with pre-connected hose for fast application. He helped start the Whitehall Fire Department Safety Response Unit, which merged with Allentown and Emmaus to form the Lehigh County Hazmat Team that is now part of Lehigh County Special Operations. He's a past president and vice president of the Whitehall Township Active Volunteer Firefighters Association. As president, he raised $52,000 selling raffle tickets for 2 cars and vacation trips. He's been instrumental in obtaining funds from the Whitehall Township Firemen's Relief for the flashover unit. This unit was only one of 2 east of the Mississippi when purchased. As president of the association, he purchased the Class A uniforms made as New York City, which the fire department has today. They're the same as New York City. Whitehall Fire Department was the first department in the area to have Class A uniforms in the 1980s. He's presently vice president of the Whitehall Township Firefighters Relief, serving for many years. As a member of the International Society of Fire Service Instructors since 1984, and he served as a facilitator for the Pennsylvania State Firefighter Certification Program. He's certified as a basic vehicle rescue technician. He's an active member of the Lehigh County Special Operations under the Lehigh County Emergency Management Agency. He's a certified hazardous materials technician from the University of Maryland and Fire and Rescue Institute. He's a certified confined space entry and rescue certification from the University of Maryland Fire and Rescue Institute. He's EVOC certified. He's a certified fire policeman from Bucks County Community College. Certified by Pennsylvania State Fire Commission as a hazardous materials first responder. Certified by the National Board on Fire Service Profession Qualifications as a hazardous materials fire responder. On 9/11 responded to New York City with a team of 20 from Lehigh County to do recovery operations. They were diverted to Giant Stadium to cover for the Bergen County Hazardous Materials Unit, which covered from the GW Bridge to the Newark Airport. He's certified by Pennsylvania Fish Commission, Bureau of Boating for Water Rescue. Certified by the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources as a wildland firefighter. Certified as a medical first responder by the Pennsylvania Department of Health. And he received a proclamation from the Board of Commissioners and Township Executive John Weand and Executive Mike Carrickle in 1989, and one from Executive Ed Galvin in 1983. If you'll come on up here and accept a round of applause on the way up. read briefly something that's much shorter than what I wrote in 1989. It says, Dennis Schultes. Whereas this is the third commendation awarded to Dennis Schultes in his 50 years of service to Whitehall Township, his list of accomplishments is lengthy and places him at a national level of both competence and dedication. He has worked hard throughout his career to make our fire department become professional and respected. His work places him in the pantheon of most important persons ever to serve our community. Whereas his service brings honor to our fire department and to our region, state, and country, he exemplifies the best of us, and his service stands as a guidepost to those who choose to be of service. Whereas I wrote 30 years ago, we in Whitehall continue to be fortunate because it is not only Mr. Schultes, but all of his brother and sister volunteers who make Whitehall shine as one of the brightest lights in the volunteer fire and rescue world. Now therefore, it is with a deep sense of pride that I present you with this official commendation on behalf of Fire Chief David Nelson, the Board of Commissioners, and the entire Whitehall community with our thanks and congratulations for a job well done. A few words. Remember, I said a few.
I tried at the bank, they cut me off, but I would like to thank everybody that supported me through the years, the commissioners, everybody. Keep up the good work, keep training, educate yourself. That's all I have to say.
Okay? Great job.
You're doing
Congratulations.
And I know you're
Filling in the blanks.
I do that.
And I have to stop in to see you.
Well done. Well done, thank you.
Congratulations.
Give me one moment for
God, this guy doesn't stop talking.
I didn't do much.
That's the shortest I've ever heard him speak. Ever. Come on up here. Come on up here. You hang on to that.
Congratulations. No charge.
I think we could sit down. That way we're not here.
Can you imagine being a volunteer fireman?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm trying to hide. I'll sneak over if you want.
Okay.
He said I didn't do anything all these years. Except spend money.
Well spent.
Thanks for your indulgence, gentlemen.
I think I speak for all the commissioners. I don't like to do that, but I think I will. I just want to give a round of applause to all the volunteers on this department. 50 years, 30 years, 30, that doesn't make a difference. I mean, it makes a difference, but it's really just a great thing to have so many volunteers and such a great force. I hope you understand how much we appreciate all of your service to this township. I don't go anywhere in this township without people telling me what a great department we have, both the police and the fire department. So again, just a round of applause for everybody. Mr. Fox, stand up. How long have you been with the department? All right. You see what you have to live up to. All right. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Fox is a fantastic singer and a fantastic actor. You see, what part are you playing in the play this year? Bill. Bill, nice. Come out and see him at the in the theater. He does a great job, great voice. Good kid. Yep. Okay. Courtesy of the floor, do we have anybody?
We have no one.
We have no one from the courtesy of the floor? All right. Moving on. Bill number 35-2018, an ordinance amending the Whitehall Township Volunteer Firefighters Length of Service Awards Program. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions from the board? Questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker. Aye. Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
President Howard.
Yes.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
The next bill is Bill number 1-2019. This is the first hearing. An ordinance of the Township of Whitehall authorizing the issuance and sale of general obligation bonds or a general obligation note in the maximum aggregate principal amount of $10 million for the purpose of funding capital projects, including the construction of a new police station and other capital projects of the township, including additions, alterations, renovations, improvements to, and the fixturing and equipping of certain township facilities and grounds. Bill number 2-2019, an ordinance deferring the required installation of curbing and sidewalks along the Reliance Street frontage of 4153 Reliance Street as required in Chapter 21, Section 21-21B of the Codified Ordinances of Whitehall Township. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Questions from the board? Questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Dutt.
No.
Commissioner Ginder.
No.
Commissioner Marks.
No.
Commissioner Sloniker. Nay. Commissioner Clary.
Nay.
Commissioner Warren.
Nay.
President Howard.
No.
What is that, a bill? Or is it a motion? Bill is not approved. 0 ayes, 7 nays.
Did you say nay?
Nay.
Nay.
Yeah. Nay.
I'm going deaf in this year. I thought he said yay. Resolution number 3036, a resolution for sewage facilities plan revision for a new land development of ARD McCommons located at 2631 MacArthur Road, Whitehall, PA, index number 1909-18. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions from the board? Questions from the floor? Hearing none. Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker. Aye. Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
President Howard.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Resolution number 3037, a resolution reappointing Roger S. Wall to serve on the Whitehall Township Building Code Board of Appeals. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker. Aye. Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
President Howard.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Resolution number 3038, a resolution reappointing Stephen Berta to serve on the Whitehall Township Zoning Hearing Board. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions from the board? Questions from the floor? Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker. Aye. Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
President Howard.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Resolution number 3039, a resolution reappointing Kenneth S. Snyder to serve as an alternate on the Whitehall Township Zoning Hearing Board. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions from the board? Questions from the floor? Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Commissioner Clary,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, nay. Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
and President Hauer.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6 ayes, 1 nay.
Resolution number 3040, a resolution conditionally approving the minor subdivision plan of Albright and Fritz located at 4153 Reliance Street, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, index number 192418. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Questions from the board? Questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Clary,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
President Hauer.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Resolution number 3041, a resolution authorizing an application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development and Recreation Program for a Parkway Pavilion project. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions from the board? Questions from the floor?
No question, quick comment. I want to thank Commissioner Warren for shepherding this program through. Did a great job.
Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Clary,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
President Hauer.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Kent Newhart to serve on the Whitehall Township Industrial Commercial Development Authority, term expiring December 31st, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Me, give it to Clary.
Give it to Clary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get a bonus.
You'll duke it out.
I get a bonus for this
Yeah.
one.
Any questions from the board? Questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Clary,
Aye.
Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. President Hauer.
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Paul Geisinger to serve on the Copley Whitehall Sewer Authority, term expiring December 31st, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Give it to Joe.
Comments or questions from the board? Comments, questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Clary,
Aye.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
President Hauer.
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Richard Farringer to serve on the Whitehall Township Authority, term expiring December 31st, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Clary,
Aye.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Ginder.
I voted already.
You did it first, okay. Commissioner Marks
Yes.
and President Hauer.
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
I'll give you 2 votes. I don't care.
Can I save one?
For Mr. Farringer, I'll give him another vote too. Motion to approve the reappointment of Joseph Wilfinger to serve on the Whitehall Township Shade Tree Committee, term expiring December 31st, 2021. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion very happily.
I'll second.
I didn't even ask for the second yet.
Oh, come on.
Second?
We don't have to fight over it.
You can tell they're politicians pandering for a vote, Joe. Isn't it? All right.
Good guy.
Of course, any comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from the floor? Joe, thank you for all your years of service.
Absolutely.
Yep. Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. President Hauer.
Yes.
Motion passes, 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Before you move on, just a question of clarity here. Should we be recording the vote for Mr. Farringer as 7-0 or 9-0?
You can, whatever you want, it's still gonna pass.
Yeah. I'd give him 2 votes. Motion to approve the reappointment of Neil Ehrlichman to serve on the Whitehall Township Planning Commission, term expiring December 31st, 2022.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
President Hauer.
Yes.
Motion passes, 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Cheryl Huckabee to serve on the Whitehall Township Industrial Commercial Development Authority, term expiring December 31st, 2023. Do I have a motion? Do
I'll make that motion.
I have a second?
I'll second.
Comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, pull the board.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
President Hauer.
Yes.
Motion passes, 6 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Jeffrey Makowitz. I'm hoping I'm not butchering that name. Is it close? Am I getting there?
Begins with an M.
That's right. It's close enough, right?
Makiewicz?
Makowitz. To serve as an alternate on the Whitehall Township Tax Appeals Board, term expiring December 31st, 2021. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions from the board? Questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Mr. Sloniker, aye. And President Hauer.
Yes.
Motion passes, 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to approve the appointment of Kara Butts to serve on the Whitehall Township Industrial Commercial Development Authority, term expiring December 31st, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Have a second?
I'll
second.
second. Go ahead, Joe.
I'll second.
Questions from the board? Questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
President Hauer.
Yes.
Motion passes, 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to approve the appointment of Paul Geisinger to serve on the Planning Commission, term expiring December 31st, 2019. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from the floor? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Clary.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Commissioner Dutt.
Yes.
President Hauer.
Yes.
Motion passes, 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Move on to Board of Commissioners reports. We'll start with Commissioner Warren.
I'm just going to refrain tonight. I think it was a great ceremony for firefighters, and great to see that we have an active department and all the members present tonight.
Mr. Clary?
I would echo the same thing. No report.
I feel like yodeling here, just echoing. Have we gotten any more detail on the lights that have been out? Because I noticed, believe it or not, I noticed more on Saturday morning. That, I mean, that I didn't see before. I didn't mark them
If
down.
you're seeing more, let me know, but Jack met with representatives of Hammer, and they're moving through the list pretty expeditiously, but I know there's some additional information I want to pass.
We have 30 lights that are presently either out because of underground issues and that's a PP&L problem that we're working through. Defective product or some type of fuse issues. We met on Friday with PP&L's representatives. 7 of the lights are on the Grape Street jug handle going down south towards the mall. So those 7 are an underground issue related to a feed from a pole right in the rear of the City View restaurant. So PP&L is gonna be fixing that for us. They're also gonna be taking care of, if you know where Sterling Auto is before you go into the mall by Gabe's or whatever there. There's 3 lights out there. That's also an underground issue. We're going to be taking care of, PP&L is going to be taking care of that one for us. The one that we haven't yet resolved is in front of Egypt Star Bakery. There's a light there where we have an underground issue. The remaining ones are either connectivity issues, fuse problems, or defective product, and those are the ones that are blinking through. Yeah, the ones on Grape Street are an underground issue that was created by the developer of Longhorn when they came in. They buried something before West Side had the chance to finish. It was working at the time. It hasn't been working now, so that's 4 of the lights going up Grape Street that are out. So those are, and the blinking that you're seeing now. So those are all underground issues that we're have to deal with. They seem to surface now that we're doing the LEDs, where you didn't see those problems necessarily with high pressure sodiums.
Are they permanent underground fixes, or are they just connecting from pole to pole temporarily?
No, the PP&L one is going to be an overhead on Grape Street, the Grape Street jug handle, because of Buckeye Pipeline easement. The others are going to be underground. We're going to temporarily go above ground on Grape Street because of the time of year we're in right now, and we have to see what the permanent fixes are for all of those. But the issue is to get the lights working so that we can begin our warranty period with the product. So that's the important thing at this point in time. The flashing one out in by Whitehall, where Whitehall Auto Parts is, by Gilboy, everybody knows that one. That's also an underground issue. We're going to take off the photo cell on there, the Talenza thing, so that we can get in there and take care of that problem. That was also covered up when that property was redeveloped, so we're going to have to expose that wiring and fix that as well. But those are the current inventory of malfunctioning or non-functioning lights.
Okay. And for brining, I know PennDOT does a lot. Do we do any of that too?
We put down, are we putting down calcium chloride now?
I think we stopped doing that.
You did?
Yeah.
I know that whatever is down in front of my place is something I don't know at this point.
It was the salt. Was it the liquid form?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's calcium
when you look
chloride.
At the street, there's streaks.
Yeah.
You know?
I think
that's what I was on the state routes.
But I was seeing that right in front of our place, that it was streaked initially.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
I don't know the answer.
Well, you brought that up. I think the one street hill that is a problem is down by the grist mill that leads up to Olympic Garden Apartments. Every time that seems to be the street that catches motorists off guard. So if we do any pre-treatment, that's probably the one hill that needs to be pre-treated.
I'm sure they've been after that,
Yeah.
but it's nasty. I go through there too. It's a very steep hill. I don't know, Frank. What percent slope would you say is on that thing?
Right, about like 8 or 9. It's, yeah, coming down to that intersection's a little treacherous by Olympic coming down that way.
Sorry, that's all I have.
That's all you got?
Sorry.
Nice tie, by the way.
Thank you. I figured we're all on the trip together.
Yeah, I got it. It's very nice.
It's my January tie for the rest of the year.
I got you.
Follow the yellow brick road.
We need to sit up so we can see.
Oh. Love it.
That's fun.
Commissioner Ginder.
I only have one question. Larissa, at some point, could we get a list of what's open on a board appointments that need to be filled?
Yes, I can email that to you.
Yeah, just so we know what's open at this point.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's it. Commissioner Dutt.
Just a couple things. I'm assisting the Senior Center, which is now called the Whitehall Area Community Center, in incorporation to become eventually a 501c3. We're going to have our history walk of the Thomas Iron Works neighborhood in April, and we're going to have a regular date and a rain date this time, since it's in the spring and we know all the weather that we've been having. And I just wanted to, as we went through all these names that are volunteering in the township, thank you, because without that, we'd be in trouble in this township with all the good volunteers that we have. And I reiterate that every once in a while and I think it's very true, and especially with the firefighters here tonight, with all the service awards and the years that they've put in for this township. So thank you for doing that.
Yes, a couple things. I would like to propose that we give an in-kind donation. The Whitehall High School Theater Group reached out to me for their production of Mamma Mia, and they are looking for sponsors for their program. I'm proposing that we give a $100 in-kind donation from the Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Whitehall Theater Group.
I'm okay with that. Do we have a fund?
Yeah, you do. You have $1,000 that you annually appropriate.
Are we okay with that?
Mamma Mia.
And I'd like to comment that, sports groups have a much easier time, extracurricular activity-wise, getting money from people than the arts. And I'm a big proponent of the arts, and music, and I'm not going to go there, but it's very important, and it's hard for them to raise funds. Okay, with that said,
Is it? And I have no problem with that. Is there other I mean, do we want to look into other things? We just want to focus on that, or just
they come to us.
okay? So
Yeah,
whoever squeaks gets
they
the
all
oil.
come
Type
in
of,
there.
all right, listen, I'm all right with that. All right.
I'd also like to thank Chief Nelson, the fire department, our men and women. The Spring Ridge fire, I heard, was quite challenging. Getting in and out of there, their diligence, my understanding, saved a lot of property. Unfortunately, we had a loss of life, but they went all in on that, and thank your men and women. They did a hell of a job. I'd also like to thank Chief Marks. His annual report indicated that the number of citations written are astronomical compared to years past, and they should be commended. His traffic division is doing a superb job protecting our citizens and our infrastructure. I had a couple local businessmen, unfortunately, reach out to me and say that, they weren't very happy about the situation. I don't want to bring their names into this, but needless to say, they were in violation, and they are Whitehall businesses, but I told them, vehicle code is vehicle code. We're out there doing our due diligence to protect our citizens. But I'd like to commend the traffic division and the chief, because their presence is much more seen. And our community knows, they see it, and they're letting us know that they're very grateful that we're out there. And that's all I have.
Again, I just want to reiterate everybody's support of our volunteers, and it's greatly appreciated, and great jobs by our departments. That's all I got. Mayor's report?
First, an apology to the board. While you have a mayor's report, a key element was not included. That's on me. I'll get it to you tomorrow. A few comments. Joe, thank you for noting that work that was done by the fire department. It was 23 degrees out there, and I think one of the biggest problems they had was dealing with the need to have that road salted, and we got our public works guys out there to help out, but it was freezing out there. It was nasty. And to Phil and Joe for bringing the concerns about the lights and the new LED lights and some of the problems that we had. I wasn't aware when we spoke, but Dan Bundra and perhaps Jack also had been in touch with Hammer about those a few weeks before. Some of these light problems, I understand, go back a few years and they were never resolved. But as a result of you following through on that, we'll get that taken care of. And an apology again to Phil, because while he requested they open seats some time ago, I said I would get them out to the board, and I believe Larissa created that list, and I didn't get that out to you. So my apology for that, to her more than you, because I know you had asked for it previously. Just a couple of things. I met with Lane Turner from the County Drug Abuse Office, and we talked about ways that we can work together, trying to stem the opioid flow in our little world right now, which is not inconsequential. Attended a multimodal commission, our multimodal task force of the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, and as a result of that and some meetings that the other staff had, we have included in our submissions to the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, which will be helping to assist in getting grants awarded for substantial amounts of money in Lehigh Valley. We have submitted one of, I think is right now, 26 proposals to that group, one of which will be for a multimodal evaluation and study of what we can do to improve traffic, both for pedestrians and vehicles throughout that area of MacArthur Road, from as far up as here down to the line with Allentown. Met with Kay Kraft. We are still getting inquiries about the Lehigh Valley Dairy, and we're trying to figure out ways to make one of them make sense to Kay. She told me that she's very interested in moving the property, so we continue to work on that. Andrew Kleiner from the Lehigh Valley Economic Development Corporation, as a result of some of the concerns we've had recently about the dairy and other economic development opportunities, I had mentioned to you that I thought it was reasonable for us to try to partner with the LVEDC and try to find ways to interact with them in an attempt to assist our staff, which does a great job in working on this themselves. But the LVEDC has a bit broader footprint, and we want to work with them. And it looks like that's going to, we've had 2 meetings already. I think we're going to have a pretty good relationship and some help from them. The IBEW had a meeting and discussion somewhere near the end of the month, and they wanted to pass along to elected officials the opportunities that high school students and others would have to work with them on apprenticeships and opportunities to go into the trades after high school or college. There are a lot of jobs out there waiting to be filled, and they do a great job of working on that. So I passed some information along to Lori Hackett and Chad Stefaniak, who works with that group of kids, and they're interested in seeing what they can do with them. And I would work, if I knew who was in charge of the local Teamsters group, I might talk with them about what opportunities might arise there too.
Not much.
One thing that I thought was notable was Madison Scarfaro, who is the daughter of our zoning board president, came to me asking for support for the Marcy's Law, which is a victims advocacy piece of legislation that had received 100% vote, unanimous vote the first time through. They have to pass it again this year in order to bring those things to play. And I'll forward that information to the board to see if you want to take some action in support of that also. That's good for now.
We don't have a treasurer's report, so we will be going into executive session after the meeting. But I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not that it really matters, but.
Not yet. No, because I have to fit it within my calendar, so I'll let you know. Yeah.